この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for lucky episode 13 of Dungeon Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It is, at least where I am in the world, an absolutely beautiful day. And so the first thing that I'm going to do here in Dungeon Meshi is, whether it's before you watch the video or after you watch the video, or honestly, if you just skip the video and don't watch it at all, I don't really even care. I would like to implore you to spend a little bit of time outside today, to just go outside, find yourself a spot of uninterrupted sunlight, and stand or sit or lay down within it for a few minutes and let it soak into your body and feel a little bit alive and a little bit a part of things. Because I did that this morning and it felt really good, got me going a little bit, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that experience. So here on a beautiful morning, I'd like for you, wherever you are in the world, to take a moment and be a living thing in a part of a huge, vast ecosystem that you can't get a grasp on ever. It's too fucking big. And just let that soak in for a little bit. And then come back here and watch some Dungeon Meshi with me. We are on lucky episode 13 of Dungeon Meshi. And I'm not sure if we're on to a new core, or actually I guess I am, because we have the same OP sitting up front at the first frame. So there has been no shift or whatnot. But then that raises the question, is this the first episode of a new core that just has the same OP? Or is this the last episode of the last core and new things will be coming? I don't really care. Dungeon Mesh is really freaking cool, and so breaking it up into artificial segments like cores and stuff doesn't really matter. What does matter is that we just overcame a major obstacle. So if we want this to be the breaking point for switching to another gear, switching our storyline and direction, it kind of has to be. We've been aimed in one direction this entire time, and honestly, we've hit the target. So let's go through a little checklist. In the last episode, Dragon fought. Fallen, got, totally normal, everything is not quite. Fallen has some weird magic shit going on, and so far it seems totally innocuous and maybe even beneficial. She has a little bit of extra power that bubbles out when she's not expecting it. But I know how you see the main character's sister with the soul of an evil demon who's going to turn her into an evil monster at the end of the book, and we're going to have to fight her or something and do something regarding that. And that's how you do it. I'm not sure that that's what's going on here. Fallen might just have dragon powers because she was infused with dragon stuff for forever. Her whole soul. And then rebuilt with dragon parts. So it might have more to do with the fact that she's now like 85% magical entity. That could be really interesting. I don't freaking know. Is that going to change who she is? That's where it starts to become a wrinkle. That's where it starts to become a question of like, have we done something wrong, something that we can't take back? I'm not sure. In any case, this has been our obstacle the whole time, and also our reason, primarily, for the team to stick together. In the absence of this reason, of this big united front of an enemy that we've been having to come down here and go after, that brought Chilchek in because he's aligned on the contract, brought Laios and Marcial in because they are morally, ethically, and friendshipally bound to go and save their friend in Marcial's case. I know Marcial. I know that you're in love with her. We know. We see it. And since she's along for the ride, also to find out more about the dungeon, also to explore what's going on with the Red Dragon, what's upsetting things, and for his own reasons that he might not have told us. If I've missed any of Senshi's reasons, let me know. I totally could have missed them. Now that the dragon's dead, now that Fallen's back, we probably don't need to go any deeper. We've discovered this cool method of going deeper, living off of monsters to eat. But we probably don't need to keep going deeper, right? We can go back up to the surface, take whatever treasure we've got, buy a new axe for Senshi, go exploring. I'd really like to see what the surface world is like. I'd really like that. But I also might be wrong. There might be some reason that we haven't been informed of yet that we need to keep delving deeper. Still, I don't think there's any immediacy to any of the reasons that we have yet. Marcial wants to find out more about black magics, probably, but she hasn't said anything to that effect. So we're kind of at a blank slate, a stopping point for Dungeon Meshi, which is pretty weird. In the first portion of the episodes, it was just like, wow, cool, what cool monster are we going to fight and eat next? In this last section of a few episodes, it's been like, how are we going to get closer to our primary goal? How are we going to navigate the obstacle course that's in front of us? How are we going to defeat this monster? Nitty gritty, how A to B. And then we have a clearly defined B point. We have a clearly defined end game, and that's getting to the dragon, and then killing the dragon, and then saving Fallen. And now what? I don't know. Here's what's cool. In a lot of shows, I would be a little bit afraid here, because there really isn't that much else to build off of that gives us a specific, direct, obvious direction. I'd be like, man, it feels like we're doing that thing that cartoon characters do, where they run. They're running so fast, they run straight off a cliff, and they're still running, and we're still running, and then they fall. It's like, okay, we're still running at this point, but maybe the fall is inbound. I don't feel like that for Dungeon Meshi. The world is so rich and interconnected that it's like, they can do whatever they want and it'll be fun. They can go out into the above world and adventure there forever and never come back to this dungeon ever, and I'd still have fun with the show because I'm invested in the characters and the way that they see the world and the things that I learn from the way that they explore things. So as long as they're exploring new things, I'm happy. I just want to say that I think that that's a really cool dynamic to generate within your show. We're not here anymore for the story exactly, or for the location exactly, or for any particular element of it exactly. We're here to, like, see the world through the eyes of these silly characters. And I think that's really cool. So what's next? I don't know. What's now? Reunion, being with somebody that you've lost for a while, and maybe the journey upward and back up out of here. I don't know. Let's do a little drawing, and then we'll move forward and we'll find out. Okay, today I'm going to draw a piece of broccoli. So I have some broccoli here. These are leftovers from last night that I grabbed from the fridge that I would have them here so that I could draw broccoli. I did not think about making a stand for the broccoli, but I'm using broccoli in order to understand trees and also hair and also, I don't know, objects that are made of lots of little objects that form the shape of a big object all at once. I spent some time yesterday. Was it the day before? It might have been the day before. I spent some time the day before yesterday just walking around my neighborhood and the park that's near my neighborhood and stuff, and just looking at trees. Trees are so weird. Physically in space, they're so weird. As actual biological creatures, they make lots of sense, but they're really weird too. Visually, though, trying to map them out, you know what a tree looks like. I know what a tree looks like. I've seen a bajillion trees. Man, trees are weird. They are all different. They're all different, and they all look completely different from every angle. There's no sense of space or scale to them. And then you move a little bit around them, the whole thing goes, and it's got space to it. It's three-dimensional, and I don't even know how to represent it in 2 dimensions. So I'm going with a much simpler sort of object. It's much smaller, has much less, like, layers that I can see to it. I'm going to try to start there. Stand up. God damn it. Oh, I got it. Okay. Let me take a picture of exactly what I'm drawing so you can see sort of. I'm not going to try to, like, reference it with a second camera or anything. Okay. Great. Okay, I'm going to draw it. I'm going to draw it big as fuck. That's what I'm going to do. Is this 0.003? This feels way thinner. Oh, oops. Okay, I'm going to use pencil for, like, groupings of... What are the little, like, flower guys on broccoli called? I forget. They're grouped here, and this goes down here, and then there's, like, a group here. That's back behind. That's group here. This whole thing bubbles out like this. Here. Goes up over like this. And then this kind of comes here. And this is all, like, sort of tangled. Okay, and that is where it's all cut off. So this has, like, a line that goes like this and merges. So that's a little guy, and then that comes almost straight down. There's like one of those greenery things, but I'm gonna make it like a little log that's broken off. Cool. Here is sort of a section. Here is sort of a section. Section. Okay. Now the problem is those sections are not sections. They're all made up of individual leaves. In, like, tree terms, they're individual leaves. In broccoli terms, they're individual little flower ball things that turn into flowers. I don't know what those are called. Do I draw every one of them? Do I draw a little circle, like I'm drawing the Buddha's hair? And draw 1,000 little circles, all in little rows? And try to make it perfect? Try to represent the reality of the thing? Or do I try to find a way to abstract it with color or dots or stippling or texturing or something that makes it look like the thing in aggregate? Well, I don't know how to do the latter, so I'm going to do the former. Because that's literally all I know how to do. So I'm going to do little dots. This is going to take forever. That's fine. I'm not going to get fast with it. I just started to like be tempted to go like scribble, 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 scribble instead of dot, 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 dot. I have to be vigilant. I am lazy. No lazy. Oh, the size of the dots matters. Closer dots are bigger. Yeah, just a little bit. And then at this point, closer dots are also lighter in color because it gets darker when they're all together. I'm sorry, further away dots, bigger dots, are lighter in color. I can kind of fake it by doing like U's that are connected to each other instead of full circles. Probably not worth it. No, it doesn't look as good. Oh, for little tiny ones, I can do scribble, scribble, scribble. Okay, so I'm trying to do like small, medium, bigger, medium, medium, smaller. If I was being smart, I would use this as a practice exercise as well, like a hand coordination exercise, and try to draw each circle as perfectly circular as I possibly could, right? Bing, 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 bing. But that's actually not the exercise that I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to fill the space. So I don't want to focus on making the circles perfect, because they're not in reality. I want to focus on coverage and speed and like making it happen. These little guys with a little stick that sticks out. These are important for broccoli. Oh, I can make them ovoid so that they're going back into space. Oh, I didn't think of that before. Ow. My hand hurts. That's okay, though. I think it was worth it. It continues to be. That's broccoli. 3 colors, I think. I think I can do this with these 3. I wish that was darker. Yeah, I can do that. Huh. I actually like a lot about this. I wish that I had done the streaks of color not as directional. I wish I had done them more mixed up, and maybe I can like undo that a little bit here with the dark. Go a little bit in the other direction. But in general, I really like the feel of that. Okie dokie! Now, I do have something that I'd like to mention on the topic of this process that I'm in. The becoming thing, the progression thing, the art and doing it thing. And mostly what I'm doing is I'm not going to recap a video that I saw, but I'm just going to tell you about it. I'm going to point you in its direction because somebody pointed me in its direction, and I found it very valuable for putting in a different person's words ideas that I've been working on for a little while here, and that I've been working on kind of explicitly here in the Dungeon Meshi videos in particular the most. The video is from Brandon Sanderson. It's a speech, and the video went up a couple of days ago. I watched it last night, and the speech is titled, "You Are the Art." It's, I think, a little less than 20 minutes long, and I'll put a link to it. I'll make it a card or whatever so that it's here or there or wherever it ends up. If you don't know Brandon Sanderson, he's a fantasy author, very popular. People have mixed opinions about him. I like his books. I think they're really fun, very accessible, really great power systems, I think. And I like him as a creative writer. He's definitely not the best writer that I've ever read. He's not my favorite writer of all time. I wouldn't put him on the greatest writer that's ever lived. He's just good at it, and he's written some stories that have taken a lot of people's minds by storm. I think in most communities, if you go in to nerd communities and you say something like strength before weakness, you might get a response that's directly related to something that Sanderson has written. Sanderson gives speeches and talks about how to write, how writing works, and in this case, he's addressing an audience, and he decides to address them regarding the oncoming onslaught of AI creators, creativity, things. Yeah. Is it art? What's going on there? And he frames it out with some things that have happened recently, like a competition where a bunch of very popular fantasy authors went 1v1 head-to-head against AI models trained on their previous writings, and by and large, the audiences reading those writings couldn't tell whether it was the actual author, actually Robin Hobb writing a passage, or an artificial intelligence trained on Robin Hobb writing a short passage. Apparently, these models can't do books very well yet, but man, for short passages, they sure do smash it. And same goes for lots of things. Whether they're there yet or not is kind of not really important because they're so rapidly approaching being there, and in so many fields are already there to the point where humans sitting there cannot tell the difference between a generated version of a thing and the original human-created version of a thing, that we need to address the circumstances though they're capable of doing the same thing. But are they doing the same thing? Questions Brandon. And his questioning, in what I find very respectable, also turns on his own opinion, on his own motivations, which is like, am I just against these things because I'm a writer, because I'm invested in art, because I'm invested in creation, or is there something fundamentally missing from those in process? And the conclusion, I'm going to spoil his talk for you, but the title of the talk spoils the talk. The conclusion that he comes to is that when you engage in the process of creation, what you are creating is not really that thing. That thing is a receipt. That thing is the like bill of deposit for your bank account. It's your balance sheet, right? But it's not the actual bank account. It's not the actual thing that's being altered. It's just a representation of it. That physical thing doesn't matter at all. Now, in a different world, maybe it would matter to some extent. Maybe I'd be able to sell it. Maybe people would have value on it. But to me, as a creator, as somebody who's doing this thing, I think he's right, and I think it rings true. That piece of paper, having it, doesn't mean anything to me. The process of today, the 36 minutes that I spent drawing that thing, the process of putting that effort in, and the person that I became as a result of that process, That's the result. That's the thing that was altered. That's the art. I'm the art. I think that's a powerful, powerful perspective shift. I think it's a really useful one. So I get comments on these videos since I started doing the drawings really seriously in the beginnings of the videos, particularly in Dungeon Meshi, because I changed tact in Dungeon Meshi. My previous videos in drawings were mostly about representing things, mostly about creating an idea, right? And then that was valuable in and of itself. But now they're not about that. They're about building me. They're about building me, and so they're receipts. So those moments when I went back a week ago and the week before that, and I looked at the various versions of our little mushroom guys, for example, and was like, this is sort of where we started, and this is where we were a couple weeks ago, and this is where we are now. What are those? They're not the thing. I'm now a person who's capable of drawing things like them, and drawing the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing after it. Another thing which really aligns with a Sanderson quote. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Always the next step. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing here. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be drawing. It could be anything. Anything that you do to become. Not for the sake of the thing itself, although that might matter. Not for the result in terms of what it does to the world, not even for the time that it takes from you or the enjoyment that you get out of doing the thing, but because the end result is a different you, is a person who comes out the end different, changed, altered, forged, sculpted, built. So as I end my drawing section, my portion of becoming, of intentional becoming here at the beginning of my video, I want to ask, what are you doing that has a feedback loop that changes you as you do it? What are you doing that builds? By building out in the world, you're building within yourself and within your own capabilities. What are you doing that builds you? You don't have to have an endpoint, a direction, a person that you're becoming. But I think if you want to engage fully in this living thing that we're doing, in this being a part of this crazy ecosystem that's too vast for you to understand, but you can stand out in the sun and sort of feel like you're a part of it, I think that building yourself into someone who can create the things that you want, that you think are good, might be the best thing you can do with your time. Let's watch some Dungeon Meshi and see what these characters get up to now that they've reunited with their goal point. Where do we go from here? I don't know. Give me just a sec. I'll be back. We'll watch the episode. There we go. I just wanted to change a camera setting because I was getting a little bright, especially when there's like brighter stuff on screen. So now it's a little bit more balanced. Good. Let's watch Dungeon Meshi. Lucky episode 13. I've got the episode up and ready to go. Chilling in the Japanese with our English subtitle track ready to roll. What's next? I don't know. It could be anything. It could get really broad, really vast now. Now that we introduced all these other elements happening, and then we had a dark elf stumble upon the horrifying dragon corpse ritual situation. What is going to come out of all of these circumstances? I don't know. Let's watch the episode and find out. 2 versions. Picture-in-picture in the description. Timer on YouTube. Early access on the Patreon. Beep beep timer to count you down. Let's go! Whoa. I just noticed the, like, tattoos or cuttings. They look like, some cultures, like, ritualistically cut skin and put stuff in it and use tattoo that way. They look almost like that. Like scarification stuff. On an elf character on the right. Almost Celtic-y. Kind of cool. Damn right. Oh yeah, the building is all weird because Castletown's all warped. I don't like that. Fallen? Why do we keep showing the sword? Nope. Not here to join the ghosts. Huh? Oh, she has soul fused. Ah, that's why, because it moved itself and fell off to let him know that something's fucking weird. Thank you, Kensuke. Where's Fallen? I assigned you to go look for the king? The dragon? I think the dragon. Yeah, she went out the window. I'm sure that Marcial's gonna come running after him. No way. It all belongs to Delgal-sama? Who's that voice? Hello? Yeah, we have met. You do remember. I like eating monsters. Wait, you think? That is not what I was thinking. That guy could be. Oh! Fucking dragon just punched him. Oh no, yeah, you were right about the Lord of the Dungeon shit. That's bad. Oh, that's crazy magics. Yeah, the only person who might know. Whoa! Made of blood. She's gonna use dark magic, I assume. She's gonna what? You fucking joking, Marcial? That's awesome. Oh, these flashes are awesome. Is she excited because it's so good? Oh no, she's terrified. Don't eat those. Hey! Hey! Can you leave? Oh, fuck. I guess we're not going to the surface, huh? Oh? Are they going to protect her? Keeping everybody here for that? Called her dragon. Wait! We should not have used the dragon meat to make her whole again. We should have just taken her the fuck up out of here and tried that way. Now she's consigned to a much worse fate. Fuck. Fully death trapped? This is so Star Wars. Oh! What? Who cares? It's better than getting crushed. Get in there, fat ass. There we go. Oh. Ooh. Huh. Looks like somewhere that there was a fight. It's under the castle town. Ghosts. But they pulled us down here. They don't seem sinister. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Not everything is a monster that's trying to kill you. Oh. Oh, hi. Is this the orc territory where they initially fled through? Oh, it's that character. She's... Whoa. Hello? Who's this voice actress, too? I know who that is. I don't know who it is, but I know who that is. Fuck! Thank God, Senshi. But are they actually friends with the chief still? They washed him! They washed him! Fucking idiots! She's cool. I know that there's a group of people for whom she is their type. Yum. Mmm. The good goo. Ugh. Let me die. Let me die. Just let me die. Oh, no. No. Por favor, no. No. Just out of mana. Drink the good goop. Is that the magician? It has to be. It doesn't have to be, but it has to be, doesn't it? Holy fuck, that's so crazy. It's all about the book, man. It's all about that book now. It is because you took down the dragon. We killed the lieutenant. Yeah, because he didn't tell us that. Yeah. Oh. Ain't no honor in this, Chilchuk. Wow. Okay. We got up this far, but now we are not bound together anymore by what we were. Huh. Huh. Yeah. You're not gonna get any respect from orcs that way. Wow. My guy. Does that shame you, Chilchuk? It should. Not that I'm a fan of shame as an emotion, but because it's mostly toxic, mostly destructive, but even so. But they don't attack. Oh, they did help us. Oh. Not everything that appears horrifying is. Whoa. That's another instance of like knowledge. Knowing this place means being able to follow those. Or fused it with Fallen, creating a dragon lady. Who's now our final boss? Yeah, me too. Be ashamed to leave him behind. But you didn't. Yeah, this is sad. Striving towards something that they can't see yet. Teamwork. Teamwork. Foolishness. Yeah, but that's what courage is, man. That's right. He's gonna end up dead or winning. Wow. Maybe just give up, man. What's the point of all this, anyway? Hmm. Like, we reinforced it and forced him into the... But he was gonna go anyway. I really like her. Aw, our cute little outfits. Everybody else is fucking awesome. She is. That's okay. Yeah, still a great magic user, though. He cares about them so much. That's what this episode is gonna be, isn't it? Why Chilchuck stays. Unless he doesn't. Hmm. Hmm. Whoa. He believes that they're going to die and he doesn't want to be there to watch. What is it doing there? But you don't care, right? You don't care, right? That doesn't matter. It's not your circus, not your monkeys. Uh, Immediately he has to care about them. He can't stop himself. Let him say his thing first. No lies, straightforward. This is way harder than walking away. It's not giving up. It's not giving up. We're going shopping, motherfucker! It's so sad, though. Yeah, about that. There might be a new dragon in town. Oh, wow. Wow, that episode went by so fast. It didn't actually. The time went by. Whoa. What an interesting emotional lull. We go into... It's like a downbeat of emotions, you know? It's like, that's a rough one. Whoa, not what I expected from the episode, but I really like it. Hey! What a somber kind of a downbeat of an episode with some crazy information reveals. But the most of the episode, we get this first half that's kind of focused on showing us odd things. Then the second half, and then some, is all Chilchuck coming at odds with the party because he thinks, at core, he thinks that they're at a dead end and that his friends are going to kill themselves on that dead end, and he doesn't want to be a part of it, and he doesn't want them to die either. His first solution, to just leave, doesn't solve the problem because they're gonna die still, he's sure. So, over the course of this walking sequence, as he gathers his stuff and talks it through back and forth with this character, who on the surface would be like the last person who would actually be able to get through to him in conversation, but because she just has a stance and then just talks through how he feels, like, she really doesn't try to convince him, which is really interesting. She is against what he's doing. She thinks that it's shameful to some extent and cowardly, but she's not like arguing against Chilchuck throughout in the way that you might expect would work, right? It's really like letting him talk through how he feels lets him come to the conclusions that he needs to, that moves the story forward. Whoa. I need to start somewhere odd. I need to start with voice actors because it's just going to bother me if I don't know who this voice is and who the orc lady is. I think we say the orc lady's name when we meet her. So let me, when Senshi is like, "Oh, you're the daughter of blank," Chief Zan's sister. Okay, I don't have her name, but I'm still gonna go look up those two voice actors. Her name is Leed, Leed. She is voiced by Michio Murase. Okay, that's Susie Manbavaran in Little Witch Academia. So there's a Trigger crossover. Marie Itami in BNA. Uexkuru in Flip Flappers. Sachio in both Megaloboxes. She is a Symphogear character. That's Gari Tumon, one of the auto scorers in Symphogear. and lead in Dungeon Meshi. Anything else? Kubo and Eizouken. Yeah, a couple of other things. That's mostly it. It's mostly Susie Manbavaran in Little Witch Academia. Wow, okay. Now I have a problem, which is that I don't know if that character is the magician, actually, and I don't know that I want to spoil that for myself by going and looking for them in those terms. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to look at the characters on Dungeon Meshi, and I'm going to cover up the names with my hand, and there's the character's face. I'm not going to look at your name, and that is you, Kobayashi, and now I can click that. Who are you? Sasha in Shingeki no Kyojin. Noi in Dorohedoro. Ruka Urushibara in Steins Gate. This is for the potentially lunatic magician character? Oh. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Maria in Maria Holic. Enkidu in lots of Fate stuff. Ayame in all of Gintama. Oh, I spoiled myself. I know the character's name is Thistle, which actually doesn't confirm or deny anything to me, so I'm happy with saying that out loud. That's cool. This is an interesting one. Oh wow! Kaire Kimura in Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei is probably where I've heard this character's voice, or this voice actress's voice the most. What an interesting range she has, because she plays a lot of like mask-leaning female characters, like Sasha from Shingeki no Kyojin or Noi from Dorohedoro are both like, I guess Sasha's not really masked, but has like a deeper voice, has a huskier voice, yeah? And then plays like femme male characters as well. So there's this interaction where she plays characters that lean toward androgyny in the center. That's really cool. Okay, we'll leave off on voice actoring there. And then let's go through the episode in order. Beautiful boneless dragon hams, delicious. Too much meat for us to even deal with and process. And in the middle of the night, your eyes snap awake, bing, and you are called. I really like the question that's created by the way that we cut back and forth to the sword. Like, what does this say? We know now, because we've seen it, but up until we saw the sword fall over, it wasn't clear. I thought the sword was going to start reacting to her moving or something like that. No. But we cut back and forth to the sword, I think twice, maybe even 3 times, as she begins to leave, as she climbs out the window, and then it's the sword that becomes the piece of evidence that leads us to her in the first place. I really like that. It builds a weird mystery to it in the beginning here. Straight over the wall. How did she get down safely? Unknown. Maybe she doesn't get hurt by stuff because she's actually a giant dragon. The ghosts watch, and the ghosts try to pull her back. Don't they? These ghosts that we now know are sane and won't be attacking you and follow safe routes through the city. They try to hold her back. Like, no, don't go over there, dear. These ghosts that have always been able to see her, she's always had a connection to them. Almost as though they're trying to protect her from what's about to happen. There you are. What's with your form? This is not the form that I gave you, not the form you're supposed to take. Speaking to a lieutenant, the dragon itself. And that entity is now within Fallen. I assigned you the task of searching for His Majesty, and now it makes sense. Why is it scrambling through this place? It's looking for somebody who isn't here. The lunatic magician thinks that His Majesty is here still, somewhere. The lunatic magician is also trapping the spirits here so that we can have a festival when the king returns. They are all his loyal subjects after all. Whoa. There's a tone, it's partly the voice actor. It's partly the voice actor, it's partly the music, it's partly the framing. And it's partly the fact that the character isn't looking at us. There's this sense that, like, oh man, it's like an unstoppable force. It's like a vast thing is occurring, like plate tectonic shifting. This character is lined on a crazy path that probably doesn't make sense and could never be swayed from it. I actually believe that this person is really insane a little bit. Huh. But I also want to say something. I am not convinced that this person and the lunatic magician who is the ruler of the dungeon are actually the same person. I know that all the other characters have said that that is clearly and obviously the case, but I've got that like red flag in the back of my head that is like a whole bunch of characters have just assumed that about this person. I don't know that it's true. I'm wondering if this person found the book of the lunatic magician and things have carried on from there somehow. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is totally him. And honestly, that's probably the baseline premise that we're going to work with from here on. So that if it ends up being a twist, we'll be like, whoa, a twist. We're just going to take our characters at their word when they're like, that dude's the lunatic magician. I have no reason to disbelieve them except this like inkling in the back of my head that it's like, that's a little soon to meet that character. Interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. Totally happy with that. But this like directedness, this on a particular path, not going to be swayed from it. It reminds me of some of the more evil CEOs right now. We live in a time where there are some really dramatically, very guaranteedly, like very obviously kind of shockingly evil CEOs, people with great power who are dedicated to particular paths and are going to pursue them at all costs. There are a couple of them, Teal. There are a couple of them who are like, oh, you're actually evil. You are a problem and you are not going to be swayed from the path that you're on. This reminds me of that. Come at me, Peter. Come at me, motherfucker. Piece of shit. I'll fight you. I'll fight you, Peter. But I don't know that I would fight this lunatic magician. It's really hard to fist fight with crazy. Thank you, Kensuke. Kensuke continues to be a core character. We said some things like an episode or so or two ago that was like, you're a stupid sword. We don't care about you. Fuck off. Kensuke's a core character. Where is she? Where could she be? So much of this episode is pretty slow. It's just like simple things happening. Coming off of episode after episode of Undine crazy and Kai Igarashi working his fingers to the bone to make insane Kaneda-style animation stuff happen to... It's kind of nice to have this lull, this character-focused episode, really. There's still some cool stuff going on, and there is this action sequence that's about to happen. What happened here? I have to look for Lord Delgal. Who's that? Oh, you know, the king of everything. Is that a song? There are a bunch. Yes, there's the song. There's also a Lovecraftian horror novel by Jack Moody and a song by Boy George. I think I'm thinking of the Boy George song from 2013. Everything that exists on this earth, it all belongs to His Majesty King Delgal. You dirty thief, who I recognize from the frickin' paintings. He's the Lord of the Dungeon, the lunatic magician. We see that the eyes shift. And I guess that's true. I'm going to run with it as though it's true at this point. There's something about Marcille in her granny panty style underwear fighting this battle and rewriting ancient magics that she's never seen second by second as she bashes these blood drakes out of the sky. That's so cool. This is so cool. This is perfection for Marcille. It's cute, it's silly, it's got like a joke inherent to it, but it's also deadly serious. And I really like the contrast. I like the whole pastiche of the thing. It's really fucking cool. I won't miss. And these expressions are so fun, you damn usurpers. Everyone who comes down in here and challenges this is trying to usurp the power, trying to destroy what we've built. Wow. Shut up, and a womp. We hold it, and there's like a sound effect that gives us the indication that he's like broken. Some ribs shatter kind of thing. Bam! What the fuck? We get this moment. I think this is the first, like, really emotional moment from Chilchuk, and I think it sets the tone for the rest of Chilchuk's interactions. He watches Laios get hurt badly. And he rushes into action. Chanting. Bad chanting. And she's almost like, it's almost excitement. It's like you're a scholar of unknown languages, and you get taken by a weird cult and put on a ritual altar, and they start chanting in the unknown language. And on the one hand, you're like, fuck, they're about to drive that crazy dagger through my skull, through my chest, and I'm gonna die. And on the other hand, you're like, oh my god, Elvish is real. That's what it feels like for her. It's like, oh my god, ancient magic. This is neat. What a horror. What a cool horror, and what a gorgeous scene. Got the little sparkle effects. It's really shockingly simple for how deeply cool this scene feels. The part that's not simple is all these little drakes all moving all at once in little shifting ways. But the whole thing feels really fucking nice. Whoosh. Look at this really ultra smooth digital zoom. Boom. Whoosh. She knows what she can't do, but she knows what she can too. And the visual language of this, when she lands the blow, and then these symbols and stuff, the symbols and stuff appear on it as she, like, rewrites the magic of it one by one and baseball bats them into oblivion. Awesome. Awesome. And then it moves forward into, like, a continuous bam, bam, bam with these lovely black and white impact frames that sort of, like, they emerge. Oh, whoa. Ding, ding, ding. They do emerge. So they emerge and then they invert and then they're gone. Hi, kitty. We have a kitty co-pilot. Please don't push any buttons on my keyboard right now. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, look at those. Those are so fun. I can understand and decipher, but I cannot keep up. The dragon parts recoagulate. What about the parts that are inside us? I don't know. That's weird. I'd like to have a chat. No chance. The eyes fade back from being. Weird. I wonder what's up with that. The ghosts stand. And this character says, no need to fear, the traitors have gone. But it looked like they were standing against him. We turn with this obviously put on face. We will hold a grand celebration. His Majesty will return soon. Dragon, let me provide you with a new form. She begins to rebuild, and it is unclear what she will be built into. As you command. Fallen is not fallen anymore. We fucked up. We fused her potentially inseparably with something magical, inherently magical, and not just a living creature on its own. One that is controlled, and now she is thus controlled. Damn, man! That's fucking bad. Star Wars Death Trap is fun. Get pulled out by ghosts. Find ourselves in the orc village that they fled from, probably. And then the ghosts emerge and stand around us, and they do not attack. Hi, a little man, a depths dweller, and they're gonna kill us until they recognize Senshi. Fucking cool. We should not have watched Senshi either. He's no longer, it's like you take a baby bird out of the nest and now it smells like a human and the other birds won't touch it. He's no longer a dungeon dweller. He's not the same as he was. The joke around the concoction is wonderful. What horrible things. Secret orc medicine. Much worse than secret elf medicine.
There's plants, you got herbs, and there's secret elf medicine.
Secret elf medicine, you get carried on a dope horse by a beautiful elf lady, and she makes some herbs in the forest and puts them in a poultice into the stab wound in your chest, and then she makes a river turn into horses and kills some bad guys. It's fucking great. Secret orc medicine, grind up some green stuff, baby bird it into your mouth. Good job. It seems he's the one governing. Whenever outsiders meddle, he shows up. And his list of capacities seems to be complete within the dungeon. All the evidence points toward this character being, or at least the book being, in control of this dungeon. What lured him? No, it's because we took down the red dragon. And at this point, we're in Chilchuck's head, and he's putting the pieces together and realizing that we're coming up against the end boss. And we can't come against the end boss. We're not going to live. We're not going to survive this. So Chilchuck starts doing the math. These two are out, but once they're up, they're not going to be swayed from their path. They're going to want to go after Fallen again. But we really can't do that, and Chilchuck is scared. He is afraid. And he's not just afraid for himself, he's afraid for his friends. That's the part that I think is what we spend the next portion of the episode separating out, really, is like, fear as an emotion is what Chilchuck is experiencing, and he is happy to act on it, right? The other characters are like, it's not very noble of you, like, that's pretty cowardly, you're being spineless. He's like, I know I'm spineless. I'm a fucking thief. I'm here on a contract. I've fulfilled the contract. Spineless is as spineless does, and spineless keeps its spine. I'm gonna keep mine. But it's not just that. It's not just that. It's also that he cares about these people and wants the best for them. I heard yesterday somebody in a very different context describe love really simply as just wishing the best for somebody else, for another living thing, with no, like, strings attached, as a simple, broad, high-level umbrella of love. I think it works. I think on some level, simply the wish for good things for another being is, at root, a piece of the puzzle. And Chilchuck wishes good things for them. But in the circumstances, he does not believe he can change their minds. He doesn't believe that they'll respect his opinion on this because he's acting cowardly, right? So he has to do what he has to do and leave. And it hurts him to do it, but he'll do it. I have to convince them not to. Anything, it doesn't matter. Burn the staff, say that Fallen was heading toward the surface, lie, whatever it is. Instead, she's like, so we lie to them? Yes! Otherwise, they're not going to let it go. But there's also something wrong here, which is that Chilchuck does not have a very high estimation of the capacity of his friends to listen and to think, right? His statement is, they will never let it go if they know the truth. We will never be able to convince them honestly, and so we have to go a dishonest route. And I think that idea, that, like, I'll never convince you honestly, and so I have to lie, is the source of a lot of lies that don't need to happen. It's Chilchuck's assumption about the character of his friends here and whether they'll listen to him. Whether they're reasonable or not. He thinks they're not going to be reasonable about this, and so he takes action based on that assumption. But what if they would be reasonable? What if you made a heartfelt plea? What if you talked them through it? And that's where we get to it by the end of the episode. Wait, just a few minutes ago, I said this character is lined on a crazy path that probably doesn't make sense and could never be swayed from it. I actually believe that this person is really insane a little bit. And now, over the course of the rest of this discussion, I'm editing T, and so I know what I'm going to say next. I want to, because I'm paying attention to it now, I want you to be paying attention to the fact that everything that I say about assuming that somebody won't be able to listen to you applies to the lunatic magician himself. If we go any deeper, we'll definitely get killed. It's 100%. We will get killed. I don't want to be a brick in the wall. And he finally settles, as he argues this forth, he's placed all the barriers against himself. There's only one way out. I'm not going to join them just to die. So I'd like to retrieve my stuff. Please show me the way. And her response is, hell no. You're a fucking spineless coward. Senshi stands for him, please. And his statement is, he's not a bad fellow. He might be faint-hearted. Like, even in his kindness, Senshi is recognizing that this is cowardly. But Senshi's able to accept creatures and people kind of as they are without shaming them, sort of just accepting them as they are. Chilchuck wants out. He's not a bad fellow. He wants out. Watch this shift to his face. Aren't you? You're not coming with? No. No. So now we're walking and talking. Damn. All fools! So she starts to ask. And we do some stuff with his eye line. He's like in anger, and then we pass through this. Did you get separated from a companion? We're just solid. Yes. Lying near the magician's feet. Can't be hopeful. But that doesn't justify lying. Easy for someone on the outside to say. But that's not why she stopped. It's the ghost. The city's residents, they only appear when they want to be seen. The routes they take are safe. Not everything is as it appears. Not everything is as it appears. That's the place. The red dragon is gone. And he's thinking through. He remembers what Fallen did to Act. And that saved them. But his logic is like, yeah, but she didn't know that was going to happen. We weren't relying on that. That wasn't a plan. That was a fluke. We keep having flukes, and that's great, but we can't rely on these flukes happening. These people keep throwing themselves off the cliff, believing that magic will catch them, believing that they'll catch something on the way down, believing that there will be a trampoline at the bottom without even looking. And Chiltrick is like, I want to at least look. I have to at least look. I don't want to just jump off the bridge because my friends jumped off the bridge. It's stupid. But also, that's heroism. That's striving. That's like taking chances. That's risk. So now we've got this character who's deeply risk averse in a party that, as far as he can estimate, is guaranteed to take risks that he's not willing to take. Even she didn't know she could use that magic. We could have all blown up, and it wouldn't have been good, and we'd all be dead. I really like this moment where the dogs sort of watch him go by. It's just sad. It's sad because we reach this moment where, like, ooh, this could turn into a change of opinion, and he solidifies instead of opening. Yeah? They're all like that. So how did you manage to defeat the dragon? Well, we worked together, and then, not knowing that a thing would work, Laios did something fucking crazy and sacrificed himself. And it worked out. Wow. Courageous. Impressive. That's not courage. It's fucking foolishness. It's stupid. You call it courage. I call it getting yourself killed. But if Laios hadn't done it, they would have all been killed. Right? They would have never gotten any further, right? Chiltrick has a point. He absolutely has a point, but it's not quite this point. What's going to end up happening to a guy that makes insane decisions like that? Either he's going to get eaten by a monster, or he's going to end up saving us all. Like, that's the answer. I think that's why there's something really compelling about people who are really deeply dedicated, or somewhat self-sacrificing, or throw themselves against challenges kind of seemingly without regard for their own safety. It's because I think that we have built into us as like on a deep and fundamental level built into us from our early days as bipedal creatures, going and doing something that's scary where there might be a reward is the process by which we gain stuff, like all of the things. There's another tree with fruit, but there are bad creatures that live over there. Yeah, you're probably going to get eaten by them, but if you go and get the fruit and bring it back, we're going to live. On a very fundamental level, the self-sacrificing heroism of somebody who goes outside of the safety in order to accomplish something it's something that we need. Like, we as a collective need desperately, otherwise we never push our boundaries. What's going to happen to those individuals who go out there, though? Most of them get fucking killed or eaten by sharks or, fall off cliffs or whatever. Lots of young men die. Lots of young men die doing stupid shit, but a couple of them solve the world's biggest problems. A couple of them find things that nobody thought was possible. And this is on any field, whether it's like physical or environmental or in a lab putting things together, pushing those boundaries with risk is what pushes the envelope. There's risk to it. What's going to happen to them? Figure out the probability of the risk space, and like most of the time bad shit, and sometimes the greatest possible thing. What's going to end up happening to them? Man, if you're pragmatic and risk averse, you got to get away from this situation. Fair enough. A few of our members already left, and maybe they were smart too. Maybe I was just being stubborn. And this is the first time she really, like, there's the time when she turns around before. She really turns around. She says, "Are you saying it would have been better to lose your friends?" Almost as though, like, I'll take cowardice, but this is a next level. Like, how dare you? I don't know. The rigidity has bled out of Cholchuk now, right? It was in his eyes and it was in his face. He's like set, and now it sort of bleeds out of him. He doesn't know. He's not sure. He's not sure what would be good or better. And now we enter into like a questioning space that we can actually move from. The line here, maybe by joining Laios, I like confirmed what he was doing and served to push him further. Like maybe he wouldn't have actually gone if he didn't have me. And that creates a different expression from her. We healed, we patched up, we had a moment of connection, we ate. I love that she's like, "Yes, good, as is your right." How did you survive the encounter? Well, our mage is pretty good at stuff, but just barely. But just barely. They're stupid idiots, every last one of them, and as we've gone through, it's like, man, you really care about these people. You really desperately want them to not be hurt. They believe that if they try hard enough, they'll be rewarded, and he doesn't believe that. I can't reason with them. How am I supposed to reason with folks like that? If a couple of lies get me on the surface, I'm all for it. It's a small price to pay. After all, I'm a coward. Wow. My life over everything. But now, it's like, having been put into this position, he takes it on. He's like, "You're right, I am a coward. That's all that matters to me." But it's not true. It's not entirely true. It's like when a child is told over and over, like, "You're a bad kid, you're a bad kid, you're a bad kid, you're a bad kid, you're never going to amount to anything." And then they turn around when they're 14 and they go, "Fuck you, I'm a bad kid." You're like, what happened here? What happened here? Where did my good kid go? It's, Chilchek, everybody around him is like, "What you're doing is cowardly, what you're doing is cowardly, what you're doing is cowardly." And he goes, "That's right, I'm a coward. I'm being cowardly. Fine, that's all it is. All I care about is myself." And that's actually not an accurate understanding of what Chilchuk's going through internally. He is experiencing the fear of harm coming to the people that he loves and himself. It's both. It's all of those things, and it can be both. It can be selfish and like friend interested, social. She calls it out. She's been watching and talking to him all through this. And again, not arguing with him, not really. Not except when he gets to points that are like diametrically opposed to her worldview in an important way. Where like philosophically, she's not okay with people saying that. Like, you can't say that. You can't say it would have been better to let my friends die. At that point, she's like, "Okay, buddy, you're bad." That's my take from it. Like, I feel like she was willing to use the spear at that point. "Don't be like that," she says. "Just admit you don't want to see them die." And it's like, Chilchuk's built up this mountain of justifications and reasonings and stuff, and she just smashes it. She just smashes it with this line. Just admit it, man. What's really going on here is that you think that they're going to die if they keep doing this, and you don't want to see it. He comes across the sword. "You might have been the smartest one among us." He sees the bloodstains, and suddenly he's interested, like something's happening. But the gate is closing. It's like, "You gotta go, bro." "Okay, fine, I'm going." And of course, Laios is already up and moving, and Chilchuk's first move is like, "Sit the fuck down, you idiot." He's trying to take care of him. Calm down. And now he talks, and he doesn't lie. After our little journey, our little walk, he comes back, And Senshi's about to say something. He's like, no. Let Chilchuck fucking speak. He starts off with, I don't know what's going on in your head. Whereas just a couple lines ago, Chilchuck was absolutely certain of what was going on inside of all the other parties' heads. Right? And in some level, he's right? He's like, they're going to go after him. They're never going to be unconvinced. It's not going to work. But he starts in dialogue, in communication, by saying, like, there's a gap between us and I don't know how to breach it, but let me try. I can't imagine what you're feeling. But this can't go on quite this way. We're gonna die. If we keep going this way, we're gonna die. We've had too many close calls, and things are getting exponentially more dangerous as we go. Laios doesn't want to hear it, but please, Laios, please, and he frames it as, please be strong for now. We need you to be strong enough to let this go for now, so that we can head above ground. I don't want to lose you guys. Not I know better, not anything else, just I don't want to lose you guys. My feelings might not match the affection for your sister, but I've got the three of you. And then, tears in his eyes, he tries to present this as a possibility space. Like, maybe we could do more if we go up. We could restock, we could resupply, we could get allies, we could gather funds, we could talk to the lord of the place, we could get here quickly. Again, please, let's try again. And Senshi agrees. And he frames it as, when we do get to Fallen, let's make sure we can make her a delicious meal. Let's head up and go. When we do return, we'll have an orc team to be friends with. And she's somewhat pleased by this outcome, I think. Laios struggles with it, of course. But then, forgive me for making you worry. Let's head back. Yeah. And that's that. What a journey it took to get there for Chilchuck, to say what needed to be said. I'm someone who, I really relate to Chilchuck's place of fear and confusion in the first half. Because it's something that I've had to actively learn. I am not that person anymore. Like, he's still in me, but I've sort of trained myself to force myself to be a certain level of honest about what I think should be done in certain circumstances, and like to avoiding rocking the boat. Yeah, because my tendency, based on some pieces of how I was raised, is like, in my childhood, I was not going to be capable of convincing either of my parents of something. It just wasn't the way that things were framed. It wasn't the way that things were framed. And honestly, trying would get me retaliation. Would get me like, you're talking back to me. Oh, you know how the world works now, kid? That kind of stuff. Which, now that I think of it, is terrible. Like, really bad. Really deeply undercuts someone's self-esteem and their confidence in their own intuition, their own insights, and their own belief in things. But when you have that lack of that willingness and ability to reach out, and more importantly, when you are convinced, perhaps by circumstance, perhaps by repetition, perhaps it's true, right? But if you take that and apply it to everybody else, it won't be true. But if you are convinced that the person you're interacting with will not change their tune no matter what you do, then your safest path is to never share your honest tune, right? Because it's just going to get shit on. It's going to be seen as conflict-oriented. It's going to be seen as you disagreeing to disagree. It's going to be seen as you being against the grain, against the flow and stuff. And so you bury that and you just act it out anyway. You act in your best interests. And well, even if the situation is one where it's like your parent and you think that what they're doing is hurting them, you're not going to say anything about it. Because if you did, you'd be attacking them and they'd attack right back. So I think there's a piece of me that relates really deeply to this, this feeling like you're unable to speak. And the magic over the course of my last 6, 7, 8 years of trying to build my social self into a person that I respect and care about, and having compassion for the child inside me and moving forward, has been trying and practicing and working on this process of being willing to be turned down, being willing to be shown to be wrong, but being willing to say what you think should be done in a circumstance, right? To be willing to not just go along with things, but to actually speak out. And to do so not with conflict, and to do it rationally and logically. I've talked a couple times in the show about when you want to convince somebody of something, you do it from their perspective, not yours, right? We talked about this with Tansu, and we talked about it also with the orcs. You try to convince them from their perspective, what they would get out of it, why they should think this way, why it makes sense for them, right? Not what it would bring you, how great it would be for you, how they'd be doing you a big favor if they did this. None of that. Let's fuck off with that. But get straight to it. We're two individuals. We have the choice of how we're going to act. If you act XYZ way, probably I think this is going to happen. And if you act ZYX way, probably this other thing is going to happen. I'm choosing ZYX because I want other thing to happen. I think you might want to do the same. And every time, with like a very few exceptions, to the point where I can't think of the exceptions, but when I think of the times when I've tried and it's succeeded, all of them, there are many interactions with my landlords, many interactions with my peers who I live with and near, many interactions with many different types of people where when I have spoken out honestly about what I think is going on, we're able to connect. We're able to talk it through. And the person that I was before who would have been like, they're never going to be convinced of that, is revealed to have a very low estimation of his friends. Because in honesty, the people that are your friends are probably willing to hear you out and probably have the capacity internally to change, or at least change their minds. And I think discounting that, like saying that they won't change their minds, you don't believe that they will change their minds, is one of the darkest roots of dehumanizing somebody, and it's one of the easiest to slip into. I can't convince them, so I'm going to blank. Leave, stop interacting with them, remove them from the planet because they're my enemy forever. That's where it goes to. That's the part that really scares me. And I know it seems like a crazy escalation there. It's like, I'm going to remove myself from the situation. I'm going to just do my own thing and not try to convince them. But at a certain point, where we get to is if I can't make you on my team, you're my enemy and I have to end you. It's where it always goes, and I don't like things that go there. I don't like things that go there. I want to live in a world where we believe fundamentally that other people can change their minds. I think I'll ground this a little bit in the political situation in the United States right now. I am very afraid. I was less afraid a couple of years ago, and now I've become more afraid. And the reason that I've become more afraid is because the rhetoric has shifted. And the way that it shifted is those people over there will never see the truth. They'll never see the truth, no matter what. So it doesn't matter. We can never get information through to them. They can never be de-radicalized. And this is happening on both and all because there are multiple facets. We don't live in a two-party system. We live in a monstrous agglomeration of weird class struggle. There are multiple directions where this goes, and in almost every social group or perspective group that I witness, their perspective is shifting toward everyone who disagrees with us is not only wrong, but is never going to be convinced otherwise. And I think that the world gets really dark when you think that the other people over there are never going to listen to you, because you take talking off the table. And if we take talking off the table, we've got plenty of weaponry to fill that gap. We can let the bullets fly instead of words. We can let the weapons go. And that scares me a lot. So I'd really like to get to a place where communication doesn't break down. And I think that starts on the individual level with you and me, with you and your friends, with me and my friends and my family and the people that I care about. And it's the only way I know how to fight against that trend. And I don't care about Republican or Democrat. I don't care about conservative or liberal or progressive or regressive. I don't give a shit. I give a shit about whether you're willing to communicate and whether you're willing to listen to other people who have different opinions than you are. Because once you are not willing to do that, once you are full stop not willing, or you assume that the people on the other side are full stop not willing, we reach a bad place, and I think we're reaching it. I think we're barreling toward it, and it scares me a lot. I see it in my own damn community, and it scares me a lot. So here we have an episode that has one character overcome that a little bit in order to speak his true beliefs and his fears and his cowardice, which they could all just turn to him and be like, Chilchuck, you're a fucking coward, leave. If you don't want to be a part of saving Fallen, leave. That's what he seems to expect is what they're going to do. And instead they go, okay, you're right. You've got a good point. I know we don't always listen to you when you're scared, but it's important that you're our canary in the coal mine and that, you've got a sense for these things, right? We listen to you when you've got a sense for a trap. And you're telling us that every room past now is going to be a trap. That the trap is continuing. So we'll listen. And they listen. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like people who listen to each other. I like characters who exemplify that. I like honesty. I like trying without certainty, without knowing that it'll work, to do something risky. Because that's also what Chilchuck does here. He talked about all these people being so stupid. They take this risk not knowing if they have the skill and capacity to make it work, not knowing what the answer is going to be. And that's what Chilchuck does right here. That's what any of us do when we open our hearts and reach out and say something heartfelt and meaningful. You risk, because you don't know what the response is going to be. You don't know if it'll work, and it might destroy everything. But heroes take the risk. Chilchuck, I think, just stepped his pinky toe into being a bit of a hero here. Good job, man. I think with that, we're going to leave it here and wrap for this week's episode of Dungeon Meshi. Thank you so much for watching this one. I think it was great. I think it was interesting. I think it was emotionally very different and came off of this like dramatic finale, climactic high point. And now we get a change. We get a dramatic change to everything. We're headed to the surface. Will we spend an episode getting there, repassing through all the spaces that we've been and seeing how they've changed and reorganized and whether monsters have filtered back into them? Or will we teleport up, right? Because, like, I know that Tansu and people did that. Or will we just, like, skip it and collapse that portion and just be there by the time we open the next episode? I don't know. I'm really excited to find out. Thanks so much for watching this week's episode. If you didn't do so at the beginning, I'd like to implore you once more to go spend some time in the sun. It's really nice, and take a few deep breaths and enjoy being alive a little bit. Thanks for spending a little bit of your time on this earth with me on this channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope you gained something from the video. That's my intent here. Thanks for watching. You can catch early access to the next week's episode on the Patreon, or I'll see you next week on YouTube. Much love. Peace.